have not seen the final project. I have not seen the movie yet. But when I read the script and they pitched it to me, they said, Casper, it's Con Air meets Anaconda, but with alligators. So I was like, oh, that sounds cool. And then I read the script and I liked all the character development because I think that the characters are, they're not one dimensional. There's a lot of gray area, and they do some things that you're shocked by, different things by almost every character. That's something they do that like surprises me. Some of the cops surprise me. Some of the criminals that come in to break me out, and some of the other prisoners that I'm already in with. There's different things that happen. So I try to figure it all out. But there's a lot of challenges. You're 100% right about that. When we get in there, the water, we're in an abandoned building that they kind of waterproofed, but then they pour the water into it. Now this abandoned building had rats and snakes and bugs and dirt. It's just been abandoned for so long. So the water is clean when they put it in, but then everybody's walking through it, and it's a contained room. It's not a flowing room, so the water gets muddy right away. We're enclosed, it gets dirty, and there's always the threat of possibly a rat or a snake. And there were bugs. I did see the bugs, and people did see different, there were rats in one day, and they had to get rid of them. But that part made the threat always more real for all the actors, because everybody's like, oh God, I don't want to get bit by a snake, and oh God, I don't want to be bit by a rat or have them crawl on me. I don't even want the bugs in me. So there's all that, but there's also once we're getting dunked underwater, the snot and everything else that comes up. So by the end of the day, it was just gross. That water was just the foulest water you've ever been in. But I think that makes it real, because if there was a flood and the alligators were shoved into a building and the water was dark, you're not going to make it. You can have guns and you can try shooting them in the water, but the alligators can now, you're not going to know where they all are. You can't shoot everywhere, and you can't, and in a contained thing, it would make you deaf too, just shooting all these things. So the threat seemed real from a lot of it. And it was really, like I wouldn't have gone in that water if I wasn't filming. There's no way I would. I would be like, there's no way I'm going in that water. That's disgusting. Like I was getting dunked, that one fight with Louis, I'm getting dunked underwater. And that was at the end of the day, and I'm seeing cockroaches in that room that's filled up with water, and the water is brown, and there's floaters and different things in there that you don't know what it is. You don't even want to ask. You don't even want to know. And there's no, because everybody's got all the camera equipment, everybody walking in, shoes, mud, dirt. In real life in Florida, I live in Florida, and I avoid the alligators. There's people that take selfies with alligators, and sometimes some of those people get eaten. If a surge came, and surges do come in some floods, and it pushed alligators into a basement, and you're in that basement with them, I didn't have any practical effects, really. I just, the practical effects I had was when somebody is getting pulled away by an alligator. That's a real stunt that they were doing, but those were on wires and ropes and whatever else the stunt team did. And that was really awesome to see, because I knew what was going to happen when the alligator was going to spin them and take them and do it, whatever they were going to do. So that was intense to see that. But that's just the physical stunt. There was no alligators in this or practical ones that I saw. I don't know if there were with other actors. I had no idea what they all saw, but I just watched what we were going through and what was in the script, and then just the relationships between everybody. That was what was key for me in this. I hope they like it, because first of all, I mean, if you like Anaconda and you like Con Air, this is the kind of movie that at least what it felt like while we were filming and what I read, and the relationships that I was dealing with as the actors. I hope it all came across in a way that people will just have a fun, entertaining movie. This is just, it's one of those creature thriller movies, horror movies where people are getting eaten. And it did get rated R, so I think that's appropriate for this kind of movie. I think if they made it PG when it's one of these movies, I think that it makes it a weaker choice, but I think this one went for it. So I don't know if you saw the movie. I have not, so I don't know how it all came across. But so far, everybody that has seen it has said they liked it to me. But I don't know if they'd come in and tell me the truth or not. We came close a couple of times with doing a series. Robert Rodriguez was almost going to direct it, but then there was a changing of the guard at Sony Television, and they dropped the ball on that one in the crossover, and they lost out on him. I don't know if he would revisit it right now. I know he's really busy with the Book of Boba Fett and Mandalorian and all that, so I don't know you know, what his schedule is like, but you know, it's come close. I would love to do something. I'd love to do Old Man Rico. That's would be a dream of mine. Come back and play him again. I love Louis Mandylor. He and I are dear friends, and I've worked with him a couple of times now. This is the third time I've actually, well, yeah, third time I've actually worked with him. But I've met him several times, and before that, and he and I became friends, and so I think that helped with our relationship and the character's relationship in this film. Nikki Whalen, I met her, and I just called my wife up and said, "You got to come to set. You got to meet this girl." And they're dear friends. They're two peas in a pod, but I love them both dearly. Nikki's amazing. She is, I mean, she's beautiful and she's funny and she's super talented and just a kind-hearted person. I think that's why I knew my wife would like her, because my wife is the sweetest person I've ever met. So I just knew they'd become friends, and they are. And she's just wonderful. She's just an awesome person. So. I love movies. I love that they take it, take us away and get us into different realities. I like this one. I like this one in the script. Now, again, I haven't seen the movie, so I don't know how it all came across. I always have to give that disclaimer. But in the script, when I read it, the characters were not just black and white. There was gray areas, a lot of gray areas. And I think that can make for a very interesting story if done right. And you're not sure what they're going to do. There's things like, my character is, what he did is wrong, but he has deep regret for it because he didn't think it would go the way it did, but there was always the opportunity for that. So he had to think about it beforehand, and he didn't, and he made a mistake. Same with what Nick Cage did in Con Air, when his character made a mistake, but he was trying to do the right thing, and he was a soldier, and my guy was a soldier too. So I wanted that to come across, where you know that he has guilt for it, and I wanted that. And even Louis' character, who comes in to break me out to help, you know, to get whatever he needs, he makes a choice when he hands the gun to the cop that I thought was very interesting. I didn't think that would happen, but I liked it. So there's all these things that, you know, like, you're like, oh wait, that's not exactly what I didn't expect to see that, you know. So I like that in the movie. I like when characters do things that you're shocked by a little bit, but then they'll do still something else that is just horrible. But still, I do like gray areas.